And we're
There we
live.
go. Hello and welcome to episode 83 of Third and Wrong. I'm Zach Foth, one of the co-hosts, and I'm joined today with Austyn Dallalonga, also in Medicine Hat. How you doing, Austyn?
Pretty good, my friend. Just had a nice long drive from Churchbridge, Saskatchewan. Got back,
Churchbridge.
bought some couch pillows, and here we are. I'm ready to podcast it up with you.
I love it.
Sans Steve, who was also driving today.
I was gonna say it's gonna be kind of awkward listening to me try and host this thing and find the nice transitions from one to the other. But we're in this together, and we
Exactly.
miss Steve, but that guy's got to drive in front of him.
This is going to be like an episode 1, but at episode 83. So we get
That's right.
that awkwardness, and we'll just make it work.
I was
Not every
trying
day
to.
that we don't host.
That's right. I I was trying to think of how Steve does episode 80. Somebody's number. He said the Jerry Rice episode. I was going to say,
Yeah.
what's 83? Who's 83 that we can? Wes Welker. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. The Wes
For your
Welker
patches,
episode.
the Wes Welker episode. I was just thinking we need to do that more often because we're running out of those. Soon we'll be in the hundreds and we can't do it anymore. So
Exactly. We'll have to start a new podcast to get to start at 1 again.
That's right. Yes. All right. Well, our first step here is always the 2-minute drill, right? Steve always says something there about counting us in.
Yeah. Well, he also tells the listeners what it is. So what is it, Zach? What is the 2-minute drill?
All right. So within 2 minutes, we are going to tell you about all the games from week 5 or the previous week. And we're going to give you little highlights and what happened and try and keep it below 2 minutes. Is that
Heck
good?
yeah. We're going to
Awesome.
pull the Russell Wilson against the Minnesota Vikings. There's your sneak peek to the 2-minute drill. But that was a perfect 2-minute drill by Russell Wilson. So we're going to try to meet those expectations here. And I guess I'll lead us in here.
Yes,
So let me just begin. 3, 2, 1. The Buccaneers. Oh, no, that's not right. I've got the Buccaneers beating the Bears, but that is not what happened. Tom Brady lost the count of downs, and the Bears won 20-19. The Texans took it to the Jags, and Minshew mania is kind of stumbling. 30-14 victory for the Texans. The Ravens just handled Joe Burrow and the Bengals 27-3. The Panthers got Dan Quinn fired as they took the Falcons down 23-16 in Atlanta. The Raiders shocked the Chiefs with a 40-24 win. Is that score correct? I don't know. The Cardinals and Jets. The Cardinals just dominated the Jets, and Joe Flacco is not it. So 30-10 for the Cardinals. And the Steelers, they hold off Carson Wentz and ex-Fulgham, whatever his first name is, no-name receiver, 38-29.
Perfect. And the Eagles revert back to sucking as Carson Wentz throws a pair of interceptions to help seal the loss to the Steelers, 38-29. You already said that. That's hilarious. Okay. The Rams take a steamer on the nation's capital football club, 30-10 Rams. The Dolphins shocked the football world by marching into San Francisco and blowing out the Jimmy G-led 49ers 43-17. Sorry, Ozzy. Finally, another W in Dallas, but at what cost? Dak leaves with a broken ankle and the Cowboys squeak by the Giants 37-34. The Browns take it to the Colts at home. If 2020 isn't weird enough, the Browns are 4-1, 32-23 Browns. The Vikings make Wilson look more human, but crumble to his heroics in the final seconds of their Sunday night tilt, 27-26 Vikings. And are the Chargers the kings of losing in one-score games? I think so, 30-27 Saints.
As time expires. And wow, I was so off on I was just terrible. Without Steve, we're lost on this podcast.
It was kind of
where
wild.
I am anyways. Yeah, it was wild.
I jump in saying exactly the one you were saying and read my sheet. That was great, hey?
Oh, that's perfect. One game missing, the Bills and Titans. Last I checked, it was 21-10 for the Titans. That is a shocker since the Titans haven't really played. I guess they've been practicing against NFL protocol, so maybe they have been getting their reps in. But I'm surprised that they're even holding it together with the Bills having been sitting out with all these COVID tests with that team. Their facility has been closed for much of the time off that they've had. So 21-10, yeah, it's still that score right now, just heading into the third. So quite surprising, Zach. I don't know if you have anything to add on that game as it's happening on a Tuesday night. First Tuesday nighter in a while. Oh no, I think he's frozen. And I'm going to pause the podcast.
Alrighty, we're back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. So for the Bills and Titans game, yeah, I think we all three of us had the Bills winning that one on our thing. That's coming from memory. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but I think it is. And
I think that's
Ozzy,
right.
you're nodding yes. I like
it.
No, that's a shock. You said 21-10 for the Titans right now.
Yep.
Man, very shocking with the Bills being 4-0 right now, and nobody's really done too much to kind of derail them at this point. So I don't know. Maybe the Titans are just that good. We'll have to keep watching. I'm excited to rewatch that game afterwards since we're recording now. But
oh, there you go.
Yeah, I like Tannehill though. That's what it is. Tannehill's better than Josh Allen. Hot take.
Oh, whoa, dude! You can't just throw that in.
Anyways,
holy shit.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, we can talk about that later. Oh my God. More greater than Josh Allen. All right, white chocolate. No.
I know. But we could jump right into the storylines then. Hey?
Yep.
Yeah, alrighty. So first one we have kind of more, well, really sad news actually, but Dak suffers a compound fracture, dislocation. The Cowboys win against the Giants. What's the outlook now for the Cowboys? What are you thinking about that one, Ozzy? And they did come away with the W, but as I said in the 2-minute warning, at what cost, right?
Yeah, that's especially with the way that the defense is playing, and Dak had to kind of play out of his mind. He was playing in any other year, I think he would have been a front runner for an MVP. Unfortunately, Russ is just playing that much better right now. But for Dak, he was still playing at such a elite level that it's tough to replace that, especially because he was playing that way to try to kind of cover up or make up for just a brutal defense that even made the Giants, who hadn't scored above 17 points, I don't think, all year. They score 34 in this game. That defense is putrid. There's holes all over the place. I don't know why it's that bad. Hopefully when Leighton Vander Esch comes back, it'll be different. But that's really what they're going to need right now. Because Andy Dalton, I don't think that he can play at that level that Dak was playing at. In the offseason, I would have said that Dak and Andy Dalton could have played at the exact same level, but Dak just took it to that next level this season through 5 weeks. And so it's such a sad loss for the Cowboys in more ways than one. They lose a great player, great leader, and that injury is just devastating. He's already been through so much this year, and you hate to see it. You truly hate to see it. And hopefully he has a nice speedy recovery. But as far as the official final outlook, I think that the Cowboys are still going to be in the race for the NFC East. I mean, you got to say that. They're 2-3, and they have the lead right now. So they just need Andy Dalton to play pretty decent. This defense will heal up as Leighton Vander Esch comes back. I think that he's just such a big piece for that defense that him coming back hopefully shores up that defense a little bit. And I think Andy Dalton's got tons of weapons on that offense that he's going to look pretty good. I don't think he'll play up to Dak's level, but I think all you really need at this point is above average quarterbacking, and I think Andy Dalton can definitely deliver that based on this with this roster. So I think they're in good shape. And if I had to give them a record, I forget what I had them going into the season, 10-6. I honestly don't know if I would change that at this point, just because I think that the defense will get better with Vander Esch back. and I think that Andy Dalton can still sling it, and he slung it, had a couple good throws on that final drive even, just to secure that win. So long-winded way of saying they're good.
Yeah, they're not too bad. Yeah. I
Yeah.
you're replacing Dak with a 3-time Pro Bowler. I was also reading that he has over 100 starts in the NFL. He's done very well. He's been to the playoffs. He's one of the best insurance policies on any team. So as far as the offense goes, I don't know if they're going to miss. Like, they're going to miss a step. Obviously, Dak has been showing that he is like special with his abilities. But man, I can't talk enough about how like emotionally, like, I was so sad watching Dak get carted off, and like the emotion he was going through, and like the contract negotiations from last offseason to what happened with his brother and like his like, I think it was Skip
His
Bayless,
mom.
who his mom, yeah, and the way Skip Bayless like attacked him for his awareness of mental health and stuff. It's been such an emotional like roller coaster that, you know, our friend of the pod, Landon Bertram, posted on Twitter, like, it's one small, like, it's a huge injury, but it's a small step for a huge comeback for him. And Dak being such a great person, I do hope the best for him. I hope a speedy recovery and he comes back just blazing, because he came in he was in that Kirk Cousins kind of like feel of like trying to get the contract he wanted, and the team that he was with just wasn't giving it to him. I know it was a little high, and I think they could have found a middle ground a little bit there, but
Yeah.
it was just sad. You always hope to see the athlete come out and like show that he's capable of that contract, and that injury, freaking, it sucks. But looking forward to, I just wanted to also talk about that defense too. I think a lot of us on this pod, like me, you, and Steve, are just in the thought process that when you have an awesome front seven, it tends to like quiet down a, not too great secondary. But man, this just hasn't been the case with this.
Mm-hmm.
D line on paper looks amazing, but the defense is giving up everything, every which way. Like you said, 34 points to a Giants team that doesn't even have their best. I saw a stat that Daniel Jones hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 games. Something crazy like that.
Brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
They
So
made
it's
him
like,
look like freaking Tom Brady out there.
yeah, that's insane, man. That team needs to figure something out, and quick, man. And I think the last thought on this is just, let's hope for a speedy recovery for Dak. And yeah, man, any last thoughts on that?
Just with the defense too, like you're paying $100 million for DeMarcus Lawrence, who I think got his first sack of the year last week.
Man.
So he's got to start performing too. They've battled a ton of injuries. Their offensive line lost Tyron Smith for the year, I think. Lyle Collins is out for the year. So they've got some injuries to overcome, no doubt. And so with that being said, I still like what they have, especially in a shitty division. I think that they're in good hands with Dalton. But yeah.
To go on top of that, Austyn, you saying that Lawrence had his first sack this long into the season, and Aldon Smith, who hasn't played for 5 years, is the star on that defense right now. Like, that's wild, and you don't pay a guy $100 million to be silent for the first 5 games of the season. But
there's no excuse. Yeah.
That all being said, Cowboys are a little bit of shambles, but we'll see them come back with Andy Dalton here. Now moving on, let's talk a little bit about that Chiefs and Raiders game, dude. Do we need to be a little bit higher on the Raiders after that one? That was quite the game.
That was so surprising, and I really, really love this Raiders team with Henry Ruggs. Just such an explosive player, and I don't know if it was just the Ruggs effect, like maybe having a guy that can take the top off of defense opens things up for other receivers, but Derek Carr was able to sling it in this game. The defense shut down the Chiefs, which was very, very surprising. But with that being said, the Chiefs have kind of looked rather mortal for the last 3 weeks, having sneaked by the Chargers by 3 points. They beat a Patriots team that kind of shot themselves in the foot. I think if they had a healthy Cam, they would have won that game. So, and then this game where they finally lose, I think that it was just kind of a matter of time with the way that the Chiefs were playing. But the Raiders, I mean, we got to give them credit. It's not just the Chiefs playing bad. The Raiders just played so good. Derek Carr, who is famous for checking down a lot of times and not being a gunslinger, he was slinging it and he was hitting home runs, and that was what they needed. If they didn't have a good run game with Josh Jacobs, being able to rely on Derek Carr was kind of what they needed, and he was able to deliver. I was very impressed. I think that we should be higher on the Raiders if they can beat the Super Bowl champs. Even with the Chiefs having down weeks over the past few weeks, they're still Super Bowl contenders. Definitely, they could even be favorites still to make it back there. I think that the Raiders even being able to sneak past, not even sneak past, they blew past the Chiefs with a 16-point victory. I think that we have to take them serious. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl by any stretch, but to show that kind of potential to slow down an offense as high-powered as the Chiefs, I think that just speaks volumes about the team, and we definitely have to have them in the conversation as a sneaky playoff team for sure.
It's so interesting you say that too, because at the beginning of the game, the Raiders actually had to overcome some adversity. The Chiefs went up on them. I forget the exact score. I do know they went up on them. I think it was 10. It was like 14-3 or something. And the Raiders attacked through it. And man, watching Carr throw a football like deep down the field to Ruggs is a beautiful sight, actually. That guy's got the arm for it, and Ruggs has got that speed for it. I think I was high on the Raiders coming in. I think I gave them a 9-7 record at second in the division. Just with the ability, like I've kind of enjoyed the rebuild. John Gruden in his third year now, building that roster up and kind of building it the way he wanted to, knock on wood, buddy. But
I get it.
From Hard Knocks.
Yeah, knock on wood if you're with me.
Knock on wood if you're with me. Exactly. I love it. And I do think we need to be higher on them. And also the emergence of Waller, man. This year again, like he's showing he's got some consistency and the ability to make athletic plays and be an awesome target for Derek Carr as well. I think there's a lot growing in that offense too. Josh Jacobs, I think he scored twice against the Chiefs there. I did think there was going to be, it seems like the Chiefs do go through a hiccup at some point, and it just feels natural that it's a division challenger at that point. It seems like every team goes through something like that usually. So, I'm not worried about the Chiefs. I still think they're a Super Bowl contender, but I think we need to start taking this Raiders team a little bit serious, especially seeing that, they do have their inconsistencies, I find, under John Gruden, but now I think they're in that third year. Now's the time they're starting to develop into that playoff team. And man, they showed it. They showed it. Man. Go ahead, Ozzy.
I just got to correct myself in the 2-minute drill. And even here, I thought I had the score written down as 40-24. It was that, but then the Chiefs scored. And so it was 40-32 final. So I had to correct myself there.
That's all good.
Yeah. But you mentioned Darren Waller as well. And so that just made me think, like, with Ruggs, that's such a dynamic offense that you never know who's going to get the ball, but you've got to stud it, the running back, tight end, and wide receiver position. And for a quarterback that we're kind of on the edge, and just, I think everybody was thinking the jury was out on Carr, because he had that 2015 or 2016 year where he kind of was slinging it and he was in the MVP conversation before he broke his leg. And then he became infamous for being the check down guy. And then now he's got 3 weapons. And so, like, he's got some toys to play with. And so it's going to be interesting to see if he can build on this now that Ruggs is healthy and finally able to show off that speed and take a top off the defense. But yeah.
Man, beautiful sight. What was fun about it was Derek Carr kind of did the Patrick Mahomes thing to Patrick Mahomes. So it was fun that way. And, especially for a New England fan and a Cleveland fan who are both hoping for playoffs, it's nice to see something like that happen.
Exactly. We needed a Chiefs loss finally. I'm
Right?
tired of everybody just thinking the Chiefs are going to win every single game. I'm glad they finally lost one.
Yeah. But speaking of Browns, see that segue? Steve would be proud
You would.
Proud.
You're killing it.
But no, for the Browns, they're in the top 10 now for most likely teams to reach the Super Bowl per ESPN FPI Football Power Index. How do you feel about that?
That's wild. But
Yeah.
that game, I couldn't be more wrong with how I thought that game was going to play out. I said it was going to be like a grungy defensive 16-10 win for the Colts. And turns out the Colts defense just got exposed and Phillip Rivers got exposed. And there's a lot of exposing happening. And one thing that got exposed was that the Browns are for real. They have so much fun on offense, it looks like, with Odell Beckham throwing a touchdown pass this week. I was pretty rattled being an Odell Beckham holder as he's on my fantasy team. I would have loved the 6 points, but I'll take the 4.
Yeah.
But it's good to see like they've got these tricks up their sleeves. It seems like they're just having fun out there, just with the type of offense that they have. And even though they're a run-first team, they're able to sling the football. And Baker is not by no means just kind of a guy that needs to rely on the run. He showed that they came out throwing the football in this game. They didn't even focus on the run to start, and it paid off. So I was very impressed with the Browns here. And I think that this is rightfully so. I mean, I've never heard of the ESPN FPI until this. But this is pretty neat to be in the top 10 of most likely teams to reach the Super Bowl. Like, as a Browns fan, Zach, I got to ask you, how does that feel? Are you pinching yourself? Is this too good to be true?
I don't think there's any other way of saying it. I don't even know if it's sunk in at this point, man. Like 4-1, it's like I'm holding my breath for the Browns to Brown. Honestly, every single game I've watched with them, like we've been so amazing, and you want to have that belief in your team. And I do have that belief, but I always have a moment. I've had 11 years of the Browns Browning, man. And it just felt like there was always these opportunities to Brown, but now they're actually starting to find ways of winning. And it's like I don't even want to gloat. Like I'm just so grateful for them actually being 4-1 right now. It's the weirdest feeling I've ever had, man. And I'm super proud of them. And like you said, if I can review the game a little bit as well there, they came out passing. Like the Colts actually did a pretty good job at slowing down the run at the start, and Baker was tossing the ball around. He looked great. He did throw 2 interceptions. I do want to say the one interception was quite bad. The second one, he was clearly hurt. And when he threw the ball, he was getting hit and it angled out funny and it went right into the defender's hand. I'm not giving excuses or anything, but the one interception was bad. But before that, he was slinging the ball around, man. 2 touchdowns, throwing it on the number 1 ranked defense. And I do think I think the game was a little bit more – I think Phillip Rivers was actually a big reason they lost. Our defense, the one analytical thing I was looking at was I didn't think we were going to be able to shut down Phillip Rivers quite as bad as we destroyed him. Like he had a passer rating of 60.6 or something throughout that game, and we picked him twice. He didn't throw a touchdown. I felt really good about that. And man, that pick 6 was beautiful. Welcome to the team, Harrison.
That was so sick to hear Ronnie Harrison get that pick 6.
Right. And we needed a safety to step up. Sendejo was, I feel he's that veteran presence, but he's let up a lot of passes, man. You see Sendejo kind of making up with his tackles and after the catch, and you're like, well, we want to start batting some of those passes down instead of letting him catch and then tackle, right? But, it was good to see both our safeties get picks. Our backup, Redwine, also got one, Sheldrick Redwine, and that was beautiful and awesome to see as well because everyone's been so hard on our secondary lately. It's really exciting. We did put Greedy on our IR, so we won't be seeing him for 3 weeks at least. We were hoping to have him back by now, but we'll see. TY did actually kind of have his way with Denzel Ward too, which is weird. Denzel Ward is arguably one of the better corners in the league, and TY was catching a few balls on him. So I hope he comes back angry and ready to get a few picks next week against the vaunted Steelers. But that actually runs us right into the top games for week
Another good
6 there.
segue. Look
Yeah,
at this.
buddy. Is there any other last thoughts you wanted on the Colts-Browns game?
Nope. I'll touch on the Browns here in the top games for week 6.
Excellent. Perfect. Yeah. So top games for week 6. We're gonna actually start with my boys, the Browns at Steelers. If you want to start it off, Ozzy, let me know.
I'll let you do the honors. You're the host. You're the Browns fan. I'll let you take it away.
Stop. Oh, you. Thanks, man. No, I actually think this is kind of a similar game. It's kind of like the better version of what the Colts kind of want to be, is what the Steelers are right now. They have you look at their defense and they're all in like the top 10 for everything for the Steelers, and we all believe it. With the Colts, you look at them at number 1 and you're like, oh, there's some question marks there. I wonder why. Like, there's got to be something here. They're all playing great for some reason, blah, blah, blah. But with the Steelers, you're like, no, that's a great defense. And my team's always scared to play against that defense, right? But also Big Ben's playing a lot better than Phillip Rivers right now. That team, is it Claypool, who scored 4 touchdowns last week, rushing, received 3. Connor seems to have his legs back after a down season last year. And Ben Roethlisberger, man, like, as much as I wanted to see him fall off, and I thought he would this year, he's coming out and he's playing ball. And it's a great matchup, actually. And I feel it feels good as a Browns fan coming into this one, not trying to play upset. It's more like, let's see who's the top of this division now. That's really exciting for me. I've also been one, when I make my decisions on these games, I like to take the unbiased out and I look at it and I feel like we had our big game against the Colts kind of proving everyone wrong. And it was actually more emotional than people think. And I think that's going to wear on us a bit when we go into Pittsburgh there and play the Steelers. I think we have a better shot of beating them later in the season when they come back to Cleveland, but I could see us falling off a little bit here. And with Baker being hurt with his rib, but still playing, as he said, mama didn't raise no wuss. I love it. But he's going to go in there. I think this could be a recipe for a little bit of disaster for Cleveland, just getting their legs back under them with so many injuries. And the Steelers taking it in a close game is kind of my prediction for it. What are your thoughts?
I've got a close game as well. I didn't really factor in the Baker injury because I don't think here I'm going to say this, but I might have a prime example from this past week that goes against me. But I don't think that they'll put Baker out there if they think he's going to be a detriment to the team. And the contradiction that I had in mind was Kyle Shanahan said in his press conference after Jimmy G got pulled, he said that his ankle was clearly still bothering him. So I mean, teams might throw in their franchise guy even if they think that they're not ready. But I really am banking on Baker not at least not being a detriment. So he might not be able to throw the ball deep this game, but I think that if he can just continue doing what he's been doing, he doesn't need to throw the ball deep every single game. And if you guys can establish some form of run and get that going in this game, it's going to be really tough against the Steelers front seven. But if you can do that, I think that you guys have a chance. And just because that opens up the bootleg, like short to medium or intermediate passes is all Baker needs to throw in this game. And we've seen that Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham can throw some deep bombs too. So if you need those guys, you got them. So I might need to pull out some tricks against this Steelers team. But we just saw Carson Wentz and a bunch of no-name receivers like Fulgham, like I said in the 2-minute drill. He went for 150 yards or something like that against the secondary. And I mean, I'll give Carson Wentz credit, but I can't. The jury's out on this Fulgham guy. Come on. So the Browns receivers, they might be able to eat in this game. And so that's banking on the Steelers secondary kind of struggling still. I've got this game. Are you ready for a score prediction, or do you want to give yours first? I've got this one going 33-30 for the Browns.
Holy, yes. 33-30. Yeah, man, I love it.
Two hefty defenses, but between what I've seen out of the Browns and their defense, what I saw out of the Steelers and their defense against the Eagles, I think that the Browns have a good recipe for success for a lot of teams in this league. It could be easily 33-30 for the Steelers. I think I just give the Browns the edge here because I'm being a little biased, and maybe that's not good for the pod, but I truly believe in what the Browns have been doing here. I really think that Kevin Stefanski's got this team really well coached, and you can tell when a well-coached team is kind of here to play. We've seen it with the Dolphins. They're a prime example. Not to say that the Browns are on that level, but just a well-coached team can be in a lot of games. And I think that this is one that the Browns might be getting kind of discounted a little bit. And I think it's a perfect game for them to kind of put their stamp on this division and say that they're ready to fight for top spot.
Man, you got me all hyped up, and I don't want to say my prediction now because I'm so hyped up, and I love how you said it. I'm not going to be a coward. I'm going to say what my prediction is. Obviously, I'm hoping for the Browns to win, but I'm trying to take my bias out of it. And I think what's going to happen here, I think it's going to be Stefanski's first tilt with Tomlin in like the division at Pittsburgh. And it's going to be a little overwhelming at times because we definitely saw that overwhelming nature against Stefanski in the first week against Harbaugh for the first time. But I'm actually, it's funny, I'm looking at it as like a growing pain, but I think it's going to be a lot closer, obviously, than the Ravens game. My prediction's like 27-23. We're behind by a touchdown and, kind of one of those final drives in the fourth quarter. We're going to go down and try and take the game, but unfortunately, something happens is how I'm feeling it's going to be, that the defense is going to teach us that lesson we need to know for next time we play them in Cleveland. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going 27-23 for the Steelers. Oh, my God. I'm a Browns fan. How do I even say that, man?
Dude, you're a coward. That's why.
I'm not a coward. I'm trying to be real here. Oh, I got to take it back. I can't say it. I can't do it.
You can't do it. People have got receipts, Zach. They're going to think that you're a faux Browns fan. Not taking your team on the pick'em.
Frick, man. I'm going Browns, buddy. Baker's going to come in there. We're going to pick Ben off 3 times, and frickin' Baker's going to throw 4 touchdowns against that vaunted Steelers defense. Can't stand those guys. No, we're going to go 27-24 Cleveland. I love it.
Is there a missed field goal in there then? Or point after, sorry? You said 4 touchdowns.
Unfortunately.
So. Oh, okay.
Unfortunately. But,
Beautiful.
little things here and there.
Yeah.
You got to live with those ones. That's our adversity.
Yeah. The Browns got to brown themselves up just a little bit.
That's right. But we wiped good enough and we won in the end. So it's all good.
Just got to wipe good enough.
That's right. Right before the game and we're ready to go. But on the next big one, I actually really like this next matchup. We're going Packers at Bucks. That's exciting. We got Aaron Rodgers versus Tom Brady. We don't know how many more of these are going to happen. And that's going to be freaking exciting, man. Aaron Rodgers is playing at a whole nother level right now. Tom Brady, his stat line looks good. He's had a few hiccups here and there, but he's also played really, really good. They were on a 3-game winning streak before they lost to the Bears last week by 1 point. What are your thoughts? Do you think Tom's going to come in with something on his shoulder, those 2 bags of chips, and come in and have to show something here and take the W? Or what are your thoughts?
I think that he might. Sorry, you're cutting out there a little bit, so I don't know if you can take some strain off of your CPU and maybe close a browser or 2. But I used to do that with my other laptop, so just getting some Austyn, the tech guy, on the podcast here. Here we go. But as far as my thoughts for this game, this one I'm a little worried. As I'll always be a TB12 stan, so I obviously want the Bucks to win in this one. But the Pack have just been playing so good all the way around, and I don't know if the Bucks defense is going to be capable of stopping the Packers between their run attack with Aaron Jones, which is fantastic, and then you've got the passing attack you got to worry about. The run game, I'm a little bit more worried now without Vita Vea, who's one of the best defensive tackles or nose tackles in the game. That opens up a massive hole for this Packers team to run on. I think that's going to be exploited very early on in this game. And with that being said, I think that the Packers are just going to be able to, they're going to be able to open this up and control much of the game with the run. And unfortunately for Tom Brady and the Bucs, I think that they're going to lose again. And I don't think that this is any indication on the Bucs in terms of their long-term success. I think that they just need to get used to, they need to find somebody to fill in at that nose tackle spot. Big loss, big shoes to fill with Vita Vea out. And so they're going to have a tough ask for the following weeks. But I definitely trust the coaching staff, Bruce Arians and Todd Bowles, to kind of get it right as the season progresses. This is just going to be, like Zach said earlier, with the Browns' growing pain. I think this is going to be a growing pain for the Bucs, and this could very well be an NFC Championship preview. Really, I really like these two teams to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Just they've played both lights out, and I think that the Packers are going to take this one. It could be 31-17 Packers.
Ooh, I like it. Getting a little bit higher on those Packers, are we? I love it.
Yeah, I hate to see it. I hate to say it, but yeah, it's true.
I love the Packers here. I don't actually have a ton to add because you said it perfectly on what I was going to bring up. I was going to bring up Vita Vea getting injured as well. And a lot of those guys on that defense are a lot of like pass rush heavy guys on the Buccaneers, and they relied on him in the middle, being that stout defensive tackle to stop the run. Look at Aaron Jones, man. That guy is absolutely insane. And Aaron Rodgers is playing. I was looking at the stats today. I was looking at the teams. If there is I need to say it now, is Russell Wilson has competition in Aaron Rodgers for the MVP right now. And if he keeps playing at this level, and everyone there is saying he's playing with two chips on his shoulder, 2 bags of Lay's chips on his shoulder, with them drafting Love there, this could be really scary actually for the Buccaneers. This defense isn't the crappy Packers defense of old. This is a team that's ready to come in and make some big plays on defense as well. And I think it's also a good test for where Brady's at right now in the NFC, for seeing against kind of one of those juggernaut teams and seeing how he's kind of developing into the new Bucs team and into that offense, because everyone thought it was just going to be him come in and he's going to score 1 million touchdowns right away. But there's always going to be growing pains, no matter who you are, no matter how much you know. And that's going to happen here. I think the Packers are going to win this, but I do think Brady's going to score a few more points kind of at the end of the game. I think it's going to be, 24 Bucks, but I think Packers could score. Did you say 31? Because I don't want to be the same one as you, because I was going to say
31, yeah. Go with your heart.
Yeah, I was going to go 31.
All right, then do it.
Yeah, no, it was 31-24 in the end for that one. And I just think Aaron Rodgers in that run game is going to control it completely, actually, on that defense. So it's hilarious that we have the same thing. Maybe I should go first for the next one.
By all means. I've got some breaking news, actually, I'd like to drop.
Yeah, oh, freaking giver, man.
Breaking news. Okay. Le'Veon Bell just got released from the New York Jets after 18 games with the Jets. Made a whopping $28 million with those bad boys, and couldn't even get traded. That's how bad it was. I don't know what the asking price was, but he couldn't even get traded. So That is crazy. That's a wild running back to have on the market.
Where is he going to the Pats, Ozzy?
This is one thing that I thought of, and I actually don't think that the Pats have the need at all. Like, I don't even think they have the room. I really love our running back room between even undrafted free agent J.J. Taylor and then Damian Harris, who just had a 100-yard game last week, and Sony and James White's back and Rex Burkhead. I don't think that's a crowded room. And yes, Le'Veon Bell has some serious potential that he's shown over the years, or not even potential. He's realized it. But just you know what his talent level is, and the Jets were never able to get that out of him. So it makes you wonder if he still has that. I would say that he does. I don't think that just disappears. I think it was definitely a Adam Gase factor, but off the top of my head, I don't really know who he would go to. I think the Bucks would make sense because of the rotation they have there. Fournette hasn't really done a whole lot. Ronald Jones has looked really good, but behind that, Keyshawn Vaughn isn't. He's got potential, but he's no Le'Veon Bell. I think if you have the opportunity there, I think that's the low-hanging fruit as a team like the Bucks, where it's a little more tempting, especially because of the lack of depth there, where you can really rely on somebody. Because even Ronald Jones, they've been like hit and miss with, this is the year that he's finally kind of taken his stride. So I think another team could be like the 49ers, who have battled injuries. They're out without Tevin Coleman, their starter. Raheem Mostert's been injured. Those are two teams I'm thinking of.
Did you say McKinnon there too?
McKinnon's there too, yeah, but
yeah. I think that's the perfect fit for him, man. Could you imagine him with Kyle Shanahan and not Adam Gase and freaking? I can't believe you have who they hope to be franchise quarterback, and they are literally stripping him of everything he has, and they can't even make. And I'll say it, Le'Veon Bell's a superstar, man. For years and years, like the guy was easily getting above 1,000 yards and receiving from the back. Like he was like the patient attacking running back that nobody could bring down, man. It was a beautiful thing when he was with Pittsburgh, not for a Browns fan, but for everyone else who loves offensive ball. And he goes to the Jets, and the offensive guru, Adam Gase, wasn't able to get him going at all. I just think his time's run short there. And now there's a very capable back who's 28 years old and wants to win now on the market. A team like San Fran would be terrifying with him on there.
Especially with that offensive mind, like you said, with Kyle Shanahan, it would just be, that'd be so insane. Oh, man. Where's the worst place that he could go in terms of just like you would hate to see him on that team? I guess probably for you it'd be the Steelers, hey?
I was going to say a reunion with the Steelers, or somehow gets on Baltimore or something.
Oh, like God.
That, and have Ingram and him as options. That really doesn't sit well with me. Yeah. Oh, that's gross.
You know, a team I kind of would like to see him on would be, I've got two more teams here that just I'm thinking of. The Vikings, they're in win now mode. They just traded for Ngakoue, so that just kind of speaks to where they're at with their with how they view their team, even though they're 1-4. Dalvin Cook just had a groin injury that might keep him out at least next week. So if you want a perfect rotational guy, like those two, Dalvin Cook and Le'Veon Bell, would be just star-studded, loaded. If you could figure out how to have two backs on the field at the same time, perfect. Another one would be the Chargers. I think that would be a really good fit. Just you've got Justin Herbert, who's showing out. He's 0-4 as a starter, but by no means has he been bad in those games. Last night was just down to the kicker, which would have made me right in our predictions, by the way, but that's another thing. They just lost Austyn Eckler. And Justin Jackson and Josh Kelly didn't really show a lot yesterday. So Le'Veon Bell would be insane.
Perfect. That's actually, now that you say that, I didn't have like any teams in front of me, so I was thinking off the top of my head here, but that one makes too much sense almost. The only thing is that I think Le'Veon, and I think every running back does the best behind good O-lines, but like the patience that Le'Veon runs with, I think he would like really do well like behind the Indianapolis Colts O-line. Be that second option or first option with Jonathan Taylor there and run behind like a stout O-line like that. Man, Phillip Rivers would only need to complete his passes, get a high completion percentage, not hopefully throw a lot of picks, and just freaking run the ball every play.
Exactly.
Throw the two running backs at you. Like do what Cleveland's doing with Chubb and Kareem Hunt, man. That's the recipe for a lot of these teams nowadays. So, or like for run heavy teams. So that's a great one. I like the Chargers as well, but
heck yeah. Well, we can get back to our top games, but yeah, I had to drop that bomb.
Yeah, that's great, man. Breaking news on Third and Wrong. But now we were speaking of the 49ers, and now we're going to talk a little bit about their divisional game against the Rams here. Rams are coming to town in San Fran. This is an interesting game. The Rams are definitely overachieving than what I had personally thought. I forget what you had rated them.
I was pretty low on them as well. I think I had them going 6-10.
Right, yeah. And then I was like 5-11 or 6-10 as well. Are coming in at 4-1 against the actual struggling and injury filled 2-3 San Francisco 49ers. This is actually a really interesting game. For myself, I'm looking at this and it's an easy pick to pick the Rams, but I actually went and I picked San Fran here, which is interesting because they just got beat out bad by the Dolphins, who a lot of people, I think all of us voted that the 49ers are going to
kick
win.
their ass, yeah.
Right? But I think it's going to be one of those they need to prove something games, and they're not going to be pushed around when the Rams come to town. I think it's going to be a close game, and it might actually not be as high scoring as we think as Jimmy tries to get back into form, and it'll be more like a 21-17 game for San Fran at home, with Jimmy kind of getting back into a little bit of the groove of things, and just getting that defense, getting pressure on Jared Goff is what's going to be the key for this one. What I also think on the 49ers offensive side is they're going to scheme up something well to nobody can really take Donald out, but they're going to scheme it up so there's not a lot of pressure when Jimmy's throwing. They're going to run the ball effectively as they always do, just with the schematical ways that Kyle Shanahan puts it up. And it's going to allow Jimmy to throw a bit better this game. And they'll just be able to beat that low scoring game at home 21-17 for the 49ers. Ozzy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I hate to keep agreeing with you, Zach, but you're saying all the right things. I think that the Rams, they're a little bit of an inflated 4-1, in my opinion, with 2 games against the Giants and Washington football team, respectively, in the last 2 weeks. They've relied so much on Donald in those last 2 games, and even the Giants game, they only snuck away. I think it was by 8 or 9 points. And I say snuck away because that game was just a snore fest until the final quarter where the Rams finally broke it open. So they've had it pretty easy. And I think, and they one of their other wins was against the Eagles, who have just been decimated by injuries. So I'm still obviously low on the Rams. I'm not going to give them credit yet. I think they've had it a little easy. And even coming to town against the 49ers are obviously decimated with injuries, losing Bosa and D Ford. Yeah, D Ford, right? And there's so many
other injuries.
There's a plethora of injuries there, but their key guys being gone. I do really like the coaching matchup here, though, and I think that Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh are good enough that they're going to be able to handle Aaron Donald, exactly like you said. Between the run game, between the motion, the use of the receivers, I think there's going to be a lot of runs out to the boundary with the receivers. They've got guys like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and et cetera, et cetera. They've got tons of guys that can do that. Even George Kittle can run those, can run the football. So it's crazy. So I do like the 49ers in this game. I think it's a perfect game for the 49ers to get right, in the sense that it's not going to be an easy matchup, but in the sense that it's just going to be a really good win to get under your belt, especially after a gut-wrenching blowout to the Miami Dolphins, where Jimmy G looked atrocious. If it was in fact his ankle that was bothering him with those throws, it's 1 week removed from that, so he continues to rest up there. And hopefully we see the Jimmy G that we kind of saw last year, where he was able to be a perfect, kind of the perfect quarterback in this system. And I think that's what we're going to see in this game. I think it's just going to be a combination of those things that ultimately lead to the 49ers victory. And I don't think it'll be a blowout by any stretch, but I've got it 28-4 or 28-24. I don't think it'll be a blowout. It's just going to be a blowout here. So 28-4. No, 28-24 is my final answer. And Jimmy G gets his respect back.
Love it. I actually think, as you were saying there about the coaching, I think it's cool that they get to play each other, McVay and Shanahan, twice a year. That's just a
Oh yeah.
great matchup twice a year that everyone gets because McVay's amazing, Kyle Shanahan's amazing. So
How
that's
about
great.
that whole division? Yeah, like those two, and then you even got Kingsbury, who
In
is
there.
one of those up and coming guys who's kind of he's got to show a little bit more cojones on their offense this year, but he might be one of those guys that we can add into that young stud offensive coordinating
Right.
type coaches.
Then we got old man Pete Carroll up there, and
Yeah,
still can't
exactly.
develop. He's like 700 years old and just going hard as a defensive specialist.
Yeah, no
I
doubt.
love it. But now, if we're going into different coaches, we have a team that fired their head coach and GM here a little while ago. The Texans versus the Titans at the Titans, actually. I went first last time, Ozzy. It is now your turn to go first. What are your thoughts?
Okay, well, I'll give you my thoughts in 2 seconds here. It depends on what the score is in this game.
I think it was 28-10 last time I checked.
Yeah, 28-16 right now. They've got the ball in the red zone.
Ooh.
Rut-row, Raggy. So maybe I should be picking the Titans in this one. This is a really good defense or division matchup. I really like this one, especially because the Texans defense showed a lot of growth without Bill O'Brien there with Romeo Crennel as the interim head coach. I think that that spoke volumes about how this team was really kind of ready to leave Bill O'Brien behind. I think that there was just, you saw reports of players getting into scuffles and disputes with Bill O'Brien weeks before his firing. So I think that kind of chaos in the locker room just does not bode well for any team. And I think that last week, even though it was against the struggling Jags, I think that it was a good get right game and kind of get your feet under you as you move along in the division, and then face a team like the Titans, whose defense is obviously doing well right now against the Bills. I always preach Deshaun Watson is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I think he's top 5 at this point. He's shown he can overcome so much, and he's got a lot to work with now offensively. I think that last week was a perfect showing that they're going to utilize the weapons that they acquired this offseason. Brandon Cooks got going last week. They finally figured out that you got to give your playmakers the football in order to be successful. And yeah, if you're going to trade for him, you better get him. Or better use him. So I think that the Texans have enough here to take it to the Titans. I think that between Will Fuller, Kenny Stills, Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, and David Johnson, you've got quite the list of names here. And Deshaun Watson's good enough on his own. He can find any of these guys and make them look even better than they already are. On the Titans side of the football, I think that their defense is really good, but stopping a guy, as I was about to say that they're slowing down Josh Allen right here. I don't know if I have much of an argument here, but Deshaun Watson, I think, is going to be between that O-line. You're seeing this live, Zach. I don't know if I have much of an argument here. I want to say that the Texans O-line is better than the Bills O-line. I don't know if that's objectively correct.
Okay.
I'm going to admit that.
Like Texans is better than Bills.
Yeah.
I think Laramie Tunsil's really their
only guy.
Their only guy. Other than that's hilarious that we're sitting here going, who's on that O-line right now? Maybe that's a fact for it that we're not even too sure. But I just think the Bills O-line's built a little bit better for what they do there. That's why I would say it's better. Man, the O-line with the Texans can't get anything going. I think they rush for like an average of 84 yards a game right now. So they do get a little bit of protection for Deshaun, but they're so one-dimensional. That's what scares me.
Yeah, that's fair. With all that being said, with all the confusion on this, I am going to stick with my gut here. I think that the Texans are going to be able to pull it out. Romeo Crennel is a defensive-minded guy. He obviously coached very well in his first game. I think that he can coach up this defense to go head-to-head with the Titans. Dynamic attack between Ryan Tannehill in the air and then Derrick Henry on the ground. They've got quite the tandem there. But Romeo Crennel can scheme some stuff up. He's been in the league a little bit. He can do a little work some magic and slow down this team nonetheless. He's got JJ Watt on the field. That's all that matters, really. So I'm going to take the Texans here. 31-27. Going to be a close one. Texans pull it out. Let's go, Texans.
Nice. I guess we do get a little bit of attack here on this one with me and you not agreeing on everything. I'm actually going with the Titans this go around here, and there's a few reasons why. I think right now Houston has Deshaun Watson, and that's about what they're relying on at this moment. I do agree with you. Romeo Crennel has brought it seems like a little bit more of a toughness to the team now, which is nice to see because they were really lacking that with Bill O'Brien. Mm-hmm. But what this game reminds me of is a little bit of, I think the Titans are going to win the time of possession with the ball. I'm pretty sure the Texans, I actually have it, they're 30th in They're 30th in stopping the run right now. They've allowed 160 rush yards average per game. And I think it's going to allow Derrick Henry to kind of get steamrolling down the hill and not be stopped. And we know how good Tannehill is off the play action and throwing the ball deep when he gets time from that, which I think will allow them to hold the ball longer, have more options to score with. Not that there's more weapons, but the fact that they're just going to be more balanced. And it's going to make Deshaun Watson have to put everything on his shoulders again. Not that he can't do it, but I just think then the defense on Tennessee is good enough to slow their run game down and put it all on Deshaun over and over and over again. And eventually he's going to break down with that. So I'm actually going to go, I feel the Texans are going to win. And I'm going to go, Titans are going to win at 28, 20, I'm going to say 28-20. And it's just going to be an effective game for the Titans. They're running the football and then Tannehill throwing down and doing enough on defense to slow Deshaun Watson down. Not Texans, Titans.
Fair play. Yeah. I was just trying to do some research on this Texans O-line just so I had a little bit of credibility, but sure enough, there is no rankings that I can find as of right now. But in offensive efficiency, they ranked 13th last week. So, I mean, your top half, that's pretty good.
Yeah. Brandon Cooks looked amazing too, man. We got to give him some credit where credit's due. Brandon Cooks finally, as soon as Bill O'Brien gets out of there, they're like, well, we'll have to use what we've been given here through these trades that Bill O'Brien did.
Yeah, so exactly. God damn it.
They're actually using them, which is nice to see for the Texans. As I know I had the Texans, I don't know if I had them winning the division or coming in second, but I had them quite high. So it's nice to see something's going right there now. But
yeah, I have them 8-8 this year. I think that this is one of those games that they're going to kind of almost be playing a spoiler role early on in the season with a win here. They still just seem like an 8-8 team. Unfortunately, they're 1-4. So I mean, it makes sense that they could easily go 8-8, but they're just, I want them to do well, but they're just not. I look at the rest of the AFC and there's so many other good teams that are just so like, they're already built to be contenders.
Right.
Namely the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, the Patriots, the Raiders.
It's interesting because it sucks to say, but at this point, it now feels like Houston's time has passed. They've been given 5 years of opportunities to get somewhere in the playoffs, and they've just fallen flat on their face, unfortunately. And now it's time for a little bit of a reset, is the way it's looking. But
so that 24-0 lead or whatever against the Chiefs last playoffs, and then they squandered it all, and that was it. So
exactly.
Score update on the Titans and Bills before you get to that next point there, Zach.
Yep.
35-16. First and goal for the Titans again.
Oh, they must have turned the ball over.
Yeah, I got to see it. Fumbled. That was Andre Roberts, I think his name is. He fumbled.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was oh shoot, it was off the kickoff.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Things just got worse for him.
Yeah, that's not ideal. So after getting a touchdown from Derrick Henry, they proceed to get the ball right back. The Titans do after a nice little fumble, and they've got it first and goal on the old 6-yard line.
Time to close out the game for them.
Yeah. So,
well, that's interesting. A tide has turned a little bit in the AFC. So
opening up the door for the Patriots.
But Ozzy, any final thoughts other than the game update there?
No, that's I mean, it's pretty good. I lost my fantasy matchup. I mean, there's that.
It's a sad day, man.
It's a sad day. My team just shit the bed hardcore, so it was not ideal.
Did Stephon Diggs have a touchdown? Did you see any of those stats?
I don't think he did, no.
I may have won my fantasy game then, so it's a good thing for me. But no, guys, that's it. That's all. We'll hopefully be adding Steve back next week. You can find us at any of our content on the Amateur Agency on Twitter or on Instagram. And you can find myself on Instagram at Zach Foth _ and on Twitter at Zach Foth. Austyn, where can the fine folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Austyn Paul _ Austyn with a Y, not an I.
Not an I.
Get
it. I love it. All right, guys. Godspeed.
Oh, gotta stop it.